Geobyte.
Welcome to Geobyte. So, today we are going to start a new course on 10th class maths, and I myself Karthik. So, I am going to discuss you the topics about 10th class maths. So, what are we going to do here actually? So, whenever we are going to select a topic and telling about the topic and explaining you about the topic, here what we do, it is a protocol. First, I will give you a glimpse of the topic. Then after we will go deep into the topic. Then after we will solve or we will analyze with the examples. Yeah, so this is what we basically do here. So if you are thinking you are not very good in maths, or if you are thinking you are like a backbencher or something, and if you are thinking you are not going to get the marks in the maths, then you have to follow this course, and we are going to tell you how to reach the problems and how to read the problems and how to solve the problems in a systematic way. And the thing is, so every one of you thinks like वो मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा, ऐसा तुम लोग करेंगे, लेकिन we will teach you how to approach a problem. You have to approach the problem with the real world applications, and we are going to tell you in that way, and we are not going to teach you in a by heart way, so that you can easily get the topics, you can easily get the examples, and you can easily remember the things, you can easily remember the topics. So you have to remember only one thing in your mind, and that is like you have to plan. This is the first step to do anything, not only here, not only the maths. Whenever you are doing anything in your life, you have to know only these two things. First one is the plan, and second one is execute. That's what we will do here, and we will make you learn that. So yeah, in the real numbers, you have already known the real numbers in your previous classes. We are continuing the things whichever you have learned up to the 9th class, we are continuing that. So in this, here mainly we are focusing on the two topics which are basically so important in the positive integers, and those two topics are Euclid's division algorithm, and second one is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So first of all, we are going to give you the glimpse on these two subtopics, and we will go deep into these topics. First of all, whenever you listen to the name of Euclid's division algorithm, you have to know something, that it has something to do with the division. And the fundamental theorem of arithmetic has something to do with the multiplication. So Euclid's division algorithm has something to do with the division. And what is this theorem? And what is this algorithm actually? So, actually, whenever you are going to divide a number, something I have a number A, if I am going to dividing it by B, I will get a remainder R. So this is the number, and if I am going to divide it by B, I may get a number R. This is the remainder. And this is exactly giving the relationship between these numbers. The Euclid's division algorithm is going to give the relationship between these three numbers. And we know that, and you know that, and you may say that, यही तो हम बचपन से कर रहा था, यही तो है ये. And the thing is exactly same, whatever the statement is here, whatever you have seen here, and this is exactly same as that whatever you are doing from your childhood. But we have some applications regarding that, sir. So you have so many applications based on this algorithm. So many applications are there based on this algorithm. But we are going to look at HCF mainly here in this topic. So we are going to see how we are going to calculate HCF from this algorithm. Again, if you are going to this fundamental theorem of arithmetic, I have already told you have to know multiplication. So if you have this in mind, multiplication in your mind, then you know the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So what is this? So whenever you know this thing, that whenever a composite number is there, a composite number, product of primes, product of prime numbers in a unique way. And you know this fact, and this fact is nothing but the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So it's that simple. And we will go into the topic deeply after this. So what I am saying is, but it also has so many applications, and we are dealing with two applications in here. And the first one is, you will prove the irrationality of the numbers like whatever you have seen in your previous classes, 9 by 8, root 2 comma root 3 comma root 5, like that. And another one is, when exactly the decimal expansion is terminating or not terminating, like this. So if you have P by Q in here, if you are doing the decimal expansion, when it is terminating, when terminates, when non-terminates. We will do this by doing that. So we will do this by, it's exactly a sharp glimpse on this. We will do this by Q is prime factorization of the Q factorization of the Q with this we will know the nature of the P by Q. We will know the nature of the decimal expansion. So it is that simple. So this is a short glimpse on these subtopics. Now we will move on to the first Euclid's division algorithm. What is that? So before going to explain this algorithm, I have to introduce you my friend who is Chichu. He is my imaginary friend, and he is going to help us for all these concepts, and whenever we are going to learn about the topics or concepts, and this guy is going to help us in any way, and he will find a way and he will help us. So here I am talking about Chichu, and one day, and he is a hardworking guy, one day he is going on his bicycle, and this guy is selling his eggs. Selling what is raw eggs on his bicycle. He is going like this. So he have a eggs with him, and he is selling the eggs on the road, and he is just going. But one guy is there. But one guy came in. One guy came in the middle and across in the road, and he just stopped him. And he stopped him, and he told him that and he just has nothing to do, and this guy is an idler. So this guy stopped my friend, and he just went into the one quarrel or fight. So these people went into the quarrel. See this. So after the fight, what happened is, one basket full of eggs are broken. And then that this basket full of eggs are broken, and my friend is very sad. And Chichu went to the panchayat and asked them to do injustice. Asked them to do him the justice, and this guy said it. So they said that how many eggs were broken? If you say the number, and we will compensate you with the money, and we will ask this guy the money, and he will give money to you. Give money. But my friend is a tricky guy, and this guy is not going to tell them how many eggs. And instead of that, he gave them a puzzle. And that puzzle is, instead of that, he gave them a puzzle. And that puzzle is, and if you count in pairs, one will remain, and if you count in threes, two will remain, and if you count in fours, three will remain, and if you count in fives, four will remain, and if you count in fives, sixes, five will remain, and if you count in sevens, 0 will remain. And he also said that his basket won't contain more than 150 eggs. And by listening to this, these panchayat people who are there, these guys just shocked and just gave him one question like this, like, if you want us to solve this puzzle or if you want your money back. And these people just scolded him, and these people just throw him away, and they don't want to give him money, and they don't want to give anything, do anything. So just because of this. So we have to talk in a right way, in the right place. So they just left him, and that is another story. But we are talking about maths here, so we have to look at the puzzle. And how are we going to do the puzzle? And we will meet my friend again when the time comes. So look at here. So if you see at the puzzle, then something will come to your mind, and you know the number of the eggs are still, and those are constant. So if you take A as the number, A as the number of the eggs. So if you take A as the number of your eggs, then it's the statement in here is, if you count in sevens, 0 will remain. So you know this thing. So A is equal to 7 into, take any number you wanted, take any arbitrary letter, and you know these things are arbitrary letters. So 7p plus R should be 0. That one is R. So if you count in 7 and nothing will remain, and that is equal to the x. So in the same way, you will go to the ups and you will see that A is equal to, and if you see in sixes, otherwise you can see in 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So if you go by this way, A is equal to 6 into to q plus 5 will remain. 5 is the remainder. But a is equal to 5 into, we can take q, p, q, r, but we know that r is here, this is the remainder, so we can't take r, we can take w plus, how many are there? 4 are there, 4 will remain. So in the same way, a is equal to, if we go by that, 4 into s plus 3, and again a is equal to 3 into t plus 2, and again a is equal to 2 into u plus 1 will remain. So if we draw by like this, and we will get these many equations, and if we solve them, and if we use the trial and error method, we will get to know that we will get the answer, and we will get the number as 119x. So it's the multiplication of 7, and we will get that. If you try this, you will get the 119x. So the thing is, if you look at this process, every time whatever your number is in here, this r is less than this. So b is always greater than r, and we are getting the conditions here. If your r is less than the b every time, then that is nothing but our Euclid's division's lemma. This is what you call as Euclid's division lemma. So Euclid's division lemma is nothing but a is equal to b into q plus r, and b should be greater than r. This is nothing but Euclid's division lemma. So whatever you have do here, whatever we are doing it from our childhood, whatever the process, the multiplication and division process is there, the division process is there, the whole division process is nothing but this one, and whatever this is there, that is called a Euclid's division lemma. So the a is equal to bq plus r, and the b greater than r. The remainder should be less than that, and we know that this is the quotient from our childhood, and r is the remainder, and remaining everything is same. And now I can say that this is the only statement and nothing else is there. Whatever we are doing from our childhood, the same thing is this. And for getting the feel of the Euclid's division lemma, I am going to give you some integers in here. And by seeing those integers, by doing those integers, by solving them, we will get to know that this is the right way to do that, and that is the equation. And we are just giving some kind of examples, not just kind of examples, but we have to get the feel of the Euclid's division lemma. So that's why we are doing it here. And those are, so yeah, you can see it in here. So whatever the big number is there, that one it would be here equal to, and 6 into, here, however, you have to write all these things like this, 12. Otherwise, you can write 5 also. Whatever the first number is, you have to take that number and you have to write it. So, see here. You have 17 equal to 6 into 2 plus whatever the remaining is there, that would be here, plus 5. And in the same way, this is a tricky one, we will see it later. If you see 20, 4 into 5 plus the remainder should be 0. And if you come to the second one, I have written 5 in here equal to 12 into what would be the q, then it will going to get the 5. So if I am going to write 12 into 0 plus 5, then it is going to give the same result as 5. So we can write like this. So 5 equal to 5 will be there. 17 equal to 17, and here 20 equal to 20. So the thing is, why I have written here is, so everything is in the form. Everything is in the form what I have told you before that. That one is clear, and that is A equal to B into Q plus R, and the Q here is whatever I have seen. The Q here is quotient should be Q, and that one is 2 in here, and R is 5, and the same way, but the Q is here is 0 and R is 5. When come here, and A is equal to BQ plus R, Q is 5 and R is 0. So by looking at these two things, we can conclude and we can say that R and Q can be 0 whenever you are writing and divisions and Euclid's division lemma. You can say that R can be 0 or Q can also be a 0, but you will get the final result, and you will call this as Euclid's division lemma. So by seeing these formulas, and we know that this is the main in here, that is the main formula, and you have to know the formula. You will just see by the multiplication and you will get to know that thing, and you don't have to by heart that one also. So here we are stating the Euclid's division lemma. The thing is the statement. So everything has a statement, and I have to state this. So we have known this thing, and we are now formally stating the thing. That is, whenever you know the thing and you are formally stating it, that is nothing more different than that, but you have to state a thing, and that statement is, if you given two positive integers A and B, then there should be two positive integers existing. Q and R existing, satisfying the condition A is equal to B into Q plus R, and here R is 0 less than or equal to B. This is the condition. So Euclid's division lemma is nothing but this condition, and we know that Euclid's division lemma is here, and we know that Euclid's division algorithm. What is that algorithm? So based on this statement, based on this, we will get the Euclid's division algorithm. Based on this, we will get the Euclid's division algorithm. So up to this point is should be clear, and that one is, whenever you see the Euclid's division lemma is nothing but you have to come to the certain point, and that one is A is equal to B into Q plus R, and that's it. And the condition should be 0 less than or equal to R less than B, and that one, that's it. So if you have this, if you see this Euclid's division lemma, you have to say that that is A equal to BQ plus R into 0 less than or equal to R less than or equal to B. That's it. and the remaining topics will be covered in the next video. But please do like, share and subscribe to GeoByte.
GeoByte.